Hello, this is a video about loot filters. Now the reason I'm making this video is because a lot of people come from other ARPGs where it's common practice to just download a filter that's already done and you can use it for everything. But that's not quite what you want to do in Last Epoch. Because of the way that items work and currency works in the game, you want to have a loot filter that's tailored specifically for your build for every character that you make. So it's handy to have a template that you can just use to set it up for all characters and not have to worry too much about it. Now, if you want to download this template, you can just click the link in the description and just put it on your Lootfilter folder, and there you go. Now, the way that this Lootfilter works is it's designed to make it so that everything that drops is useful for your build, so you don't have to look on the ground and try and figure out if anything is useful or not useful for you. You can just pick everything up and you're good to go. Okay, so the first rule, you can kind of ignore if you're playing SSF, because it's for items that you want to pick up for other builds. So if you're playing a Meteor build, for example, you can just type in Meteor and have the +1 to Meteor show up. That way you don't have to fear missing out on good items for other builds. The second rule is for important affixes. Now, I'm presuming at this point that you have a build already planned and you know exactly what you're going to use. So here's where you would put all of your more fancy affixes. Like in this case, I'm playing Raptor, so I want Raptor +1. I want minion crit damage. So I would just select these rare mods and put them in this one. The reason you have to do this is because affixes actually have rarity in Last Epoch. So certain affixes are more difficult to come across than other ones. So you might always want to check for these rare mods. Now the next three rules are for leveling. And the reason I have three separate rules is because sometimes you might pick up a bunch of, let's say, movement speed items, and you just don't want to pick them up anymore. And then you can just come here, tick them off, and you're good to go. All the other leveling items are still going to show up on your filter and you're going to be fine. Usually the mods that I put on these are movement speed, necrotic, void, and fizz res, and then whatever specific type of damage I need. In this case we have resistances. On the second one I have movement speed. And on the third one's where I would put, let's say, fire damage, cold damage, that kind of a thing. Now the next rule is to show leveling bases. Now if you're playing a caster, for example, you might want to update your staff. In which case you just want to select which base you want. So in this case it's staff. And select all the important bases that you need. In this case, let's say the Maruna staff, the Adept staff, not the composite staff, gate staff, so on and so forth. That way, whenever you hit a level threshold, you can just always have an updated base for your staff. Now, this next rule is a little bit more complicated. Between leveling right at the beginning and end game, there's a period where you don't have quite the level you need for actual good bases. But also you kind of need more than just movement speed and void resistance. So this is where you would put all of your useful affixes, right? So if you need health, if you need resistances, all of your useful affixes go into this one. And then it shows up everything with 5 or more tiers combined. So a minimum of 2. So for example, if I have health, it's not going to show if it's just tier 1. But if it's tier 2, it shows up. And a total is 5. I feel like that's a good measure to have it on. But you can always adjust, of course. Okay, so these next rules, the ones in red, are all about the specific items that I need. So in this case, I know that I need relics with cold and necrotic on the implicit and minion damage. So I can just come here and select the base that I need. In this case, it's a primalist relic with cold res and necrotic. And then I can choose the affixes and just put minion damage in there. And there we go. And I do the same thing for all item slots. Now, in this case, for example, I'm using a unique amulet, in which case I can just tick off the amulet filter, and it's not going to show me any amulets at all. And I'm not going to have to worry about looking at them in the ground. So the next one is for idols. Now, I have two separate rules for idols, one of them for regular ones, and one of them for the more important ones. This kind of changed a little bit with the patch, because now you actually have to use the small ones and all the weird sized ones, but it still functions exactly the same way. So the regular idols is where I usually put my resistances when I'm leveling, so that I can always adjust for the resistance that I need in that specific zone. And in this case, all of the other ones, even though they're common, so the damage ones, go into the important idols slot, because I want them to show with the proper coloring. So in this case, I would put in minion attack speed, right, which is a adorned idol. So I can go Primalist. Notice that it's not a class-specific affix, but an idle affix. So I go Primalist, minion with attack speed, and there we go. Then I'm also going to need minion physical damage, which is on the small ones. Now this one is not on Primalist idols, it's on general idols. So you can go physical, general idols, and shared physical damage, and there we go. Well, that'll be it for this video, short and sweet. If you'd like to see any more of my content, check out my Twitch channel at twitch.tv/additional_baker, and my Discord server as well as everything else will also be in the description. Have fun!